And again, we wish we could share the full details, but to be frank, we were done dirty on this, and let's just say, unfortunately, by our choice, now ZK will never ever offer any TR collabs or pairs again after our pairs were sold for more money.
What's up everyone? It's been a minute, but I am back with another ZadehKicks update. And this one is a bit of a doozy. We're gonna shelve everything else that's going on here. There hasn't been much by way of updates, but I'm going to talk about something that has been a point of discussion in the sneaker community ever since it happened. And I am sitting on what I believe is email evidence directly from Zadeh that confirms a trophy room backdoor. I really want to be careful about what I say here and only present the facts in terms of what this evidence shows and what it could possibly mean. Obviously, there are other players besides Zadeh involved, but we're going to get into the trophy room release and the accusations of a major backdoor viewed from the Zadeh side of things. I'm going to show you the email, but before we get into it, I really want to give some background so that if you're watching this video cold, if you're not familiar with the Zadeh story, if you're only interested in the trophy room side, whatever the angle happens to be, you're going to be able to have some context as to what's going on. So ZadehKicks was a sneaker reseller who effectively went bankrupt and left people high and dry to the tune of tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. In order to source his shoes, everyone believed that he had backdoor sources to legitimate new inventory. In this case, this was a sneaker release from Trophy Room, which is a store owned by Marcus Jordan, who is Michael Jordan's son. And they made a very amazing, quite honestly, shoe in honor of Michael Jordan's first All-Star game, where he got frozen out and then came back and took the league by storm. There were 12,000 pairs of these, and it is widely believed that Marcus Jordan backdoored the majority of them. People have come out and claimed that they've witnessed things. Specifically, probably 2 to 3 months ago, there were photos of a hotel lobby near the Trophy Room store where there were shoes moving through the lobby on the carts that the bellboys use. I think everyone at this point really has a strong sense of what happened, but I don't think, to my knowledge, that anyone has seen this actual email. And there's nuances to what is said and the tone that I think actually speak to the greater Zadeh story. And so I'm going to show that to you. We're going to parse what I think it means, and I'll let you also judge for yourself. But before we get there, I really want to establish the authenticity of this, because this is not an accusation that's just made up. It really has origins from my own purchasing of 2 trophy rooms from Zadeh. So I'm gonna show you the order confirmations, the shoes that I have, and you'll actually, if you go back on my channel, be able to see when I did a review of these shoes when I received them. So this is all on the up and up from my end. Quite honestly, when it comes to backdooring shoes, this isn't, you know, the war in Ukraine. I kind of don't care what people do, but I think that the notion that you can do something that goes against what I'll say is the court of public opinion and then try to get away with that too, that's where you're kind of crossing a line. And an example of that is how Marcus basically tweeted, "Y'all so annoying, this all cap." Quite frankly, Marcus, you do you, but I think this evidence says otherwise. Let's get into it. And everyone knows that I don't do this with most of my videos, but for the ones that I care about, for the ones that I want people to tune into, that represent where this channel is gonna go, I ask, if you like what you see here, please hit the like button. It's a small thing you can do that really helps me out on my end. And if you wanna see more videos as the story unfolds, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. Okay, so really quickly, first things first, let's just establish the authenticity of what I am presenting you. I placed 2 orders for trophy rooms, one for $1,220 and the other for $1,800. I have the original boxes as they came from Zadeh right here. I'm not going to show you the actual shipping label as it has my address on it, but I will take a picture and present it on the screen with the address blocked out. This one is order number 128206. I'll show you the order confirmation screen grab from the website. This one is order 129549. Again, I'll show you the order confirmation from the website. These are the same pairs that I reviewed on my channel in the past. So there's a size 11, and this is an 11.5. And the actual pair numbers, $7,964 of 12,000. And 861 of 12,000. So again, if you were to watch the original review, you will see these are those same 2 pairs of shoes. I purchased these directly from Zadeh, and I received them in the end despite the chance that I wasn't going to, which you'll see in the email. Now, these orders were placed in December of 2021. This email update came out in February, and it basically was an update concerning the orders that I had made and the possibility that they might not actually get fulfilled. So let me read to you this email now that I don't think has been revealed by anyone prior to this point, because I believe it provides evidence from the Zadeh side of a trophy room backdoor. Here goes. Hi. We wanted to send a quick update on the much talked about trophy room ones. We cannot share as much as we would like to, but we will share as much as we can, on the cusp of too much. We just got the final word that we are going to be getting about half of what we were supposed to. We suspected they may try to do this, but was told up until now not to worry, yes, your pairs are good. Our overall pairs were small for what we typically get, and we also felt obligated not to try and take too many of this hyped limited release to prevent any issues internally or publicly. But, so to keep this as brief as possible, about half, slightly less than half as we had extra not sold, which we will not keep now obviously, the orders will not be able to be fulfilled. Now these were supposed to ship around May. We hope to know in May, but until then we will not know which of the exact orders will ship and which will have to be refunded. We would do it in order received, to be fair, but the sizes will not match up even with that exactly, so there would end up being people whom ordered later that got versus others. And we would not select those that paid more and bought later. So we are going to just randomly draw each size versus the pairs we got, and any that do not will have to refund. No size changes offered or allowed. Now, some sizes may be close to having all and some others less. This release was not super close for us, so all of this was easily avoidable and should have been no fulfillment issues. But we will also say in our almost 12 years in this business, with ups and downs with vendors, never has one been like this. Now, no one has to wait if you wish not to, but if you do wish to see if your order will be fulfilled, you will have to wait until we are ready sometime in May and for our email. If you do not wish to wait, please reply to this email asking for a refund on this order. We receive thousands of emails a day, so please allow up to 5 business days for that process, though we will try to much sooner. You will be refunded in full without penalty if you select refund. Or if you like, we will send full store credit plus an extra $200 for the issue. This extra $200 credit offer per pair expires 4/30/21. Now, we apologize for this and know this is likely shocking and very upsetting, as we in general always come through and love doing so for everyone. And again, we wish we could share the full details, but to be frank, we were done dirty on this, and let's just say, unfortunately, by our choice, now ZK will never ever offer any TR collabs or pairs again after our pairs were sold for more money, which also just found out who got half or so of ours, not their fault. This is all the detail we can provide at this time. If you wish to wait, no need to reply to this email. Oh, and often when we send out updates and they end up on the internets, this one we ask you to please not share this email with anyone or post it anywhere. That is because if this makes its way back before we get all our pairs in, there is a chance may not send them since we were not so flattering in our words and frustration. We just prefer to not have that risk of even less pairs. That is why we waited, not saying anything negative at all in this email, but also felt it right to keep it real. Thank you. My goodness. You know, in a lot of the previous videos I made on this subject, I said it really didn't feel to me like Zadeh wanted to end up in this position, that he was trying to create a Ponzi scheme where he was going to take the money and run. And I think part of what formed my opinion on that was the knowledge of this email when I received it. I said that he legitimately had backdoor access. I believe that this is strong evidence of that. But the way that it's presented also speaks, I believe, to his character and his intent. He mentioned how he always comes through. I believe he took strong pride in that. Even though he was backdooring, he talked about Trophy Room doing him dirty. And I think that there are unwritten laws of the streets or of this business that he respected and complied with, and he, along with I think a lot of the sneaker community, felt that Trophy Room violated. Backdooring is a very interesting thing because I think in general the sneaker community actually accepts it. I think people know that retail shops that might be struggling with quote unquote bricks, that get an opportunity every now and then, once in a blue moon, to have hype pairs and limited release that they know people are going to want, have an opportunity to boost their revenue a little bit by letting a few go out the back door at higher prices. And I don't think anyone has ever faulted these shops for doing that with a portion of their inventory. I think everyone saw this as a really egregious money grab on Trophy Room's part to backdoor what felt like the majority of their inventory as opposed to just a fraction. And It's funny because Zadeh isn't really poking at that point, although he did reference, not wanting to take too many pairs, but he also felt that once a deal was made and everything was committed to, that should be honored. And even with the backdooring, he's saying that Trophy Room got money hungry and chose to resell a portion of the inventory that was already spoken for. As I said earlier, reselling hype sneakers is not so consequential in the grand scheme of things. It's not a life or death proposition. The inventory is Trophy Room's to choose what to do with. And quite frankly, having invested in a lot of businesses and seen people make decisions solely for monetary reasons, it's not hard to understand why Trophy Room would have done what they did. For them, at the time, in the moment, it was a simple equation of selling more pairs for more money meant more revenue on the spot. If you've seen my other videos about investing, you'll know that I personally feel like in this situation, it was penny wise, pound foolish. Because someone in Marcus's position, who is Michael Jordan's son, who has a retail shop called Trophy Room that is meant to honor his legacy, had an opportunity to create absolutely amazing collaborations across all of the Jordans you could possibly imagine, and he has direct access to the person, Michael Jordan, his father, and all of the stories. He could have built ridiculous collabs that no other shop would have been able to touch. The Trophy Room collab, the story, the freeze out, the box, the sole, the stars underneath, it was incredible from a design perspective. And if he had just done right by the release and let normal people get their hands on this shoe, I think this shoe would have been the shoe of 2021. I think it would be reselling for crazy money right now. And I think the fact that it isn't is really a testament to the sneaker community backlash against what Trophy Room has done here. And like I said, it's really unfortunate because look at the shoes that Union LA has gotten since. Look at the collaborations. One of my favorites still is the Union LA Jordan 1. This one is also fantastic. Could you imagine if Trophy Room made a Jordan 4 or a Jordan 3 with as incredible a backstory as what they came up with for the Trophy Room? It would have been amazing. It still might. Who knows? Maybe the sneaker community can forgive Marcus. Maybe Marcus can make these shoes and they'll be so incredible that the sneaker community doesn't even care. I don't know what the precedent is for someone just admitting when they've made a mistake, if they believe they've made a mistake. And if I were Marcus and in his shoes, that's honestly what I would do here. Own up to what was done, make amends, go out and design some freaking amazing shoes from here and let people actually get their hands on them. And one point I want to make, not discounting what Zadeh did and how things ultimately ended up, I have a lot of respect for how he handled this specific situation. For him, it was more than money. It was respect and honoring a code, and he had principled values that he adhered to. And once he felt he was done dirty, he instituted his principles despite the fact that he knew he would likely lose money on future collaborations going forward. And that's something that I think is commendable, that should be applauded, that people can appreciate and potentially learn from. And again, it gets at the core of why I don't think he wanted to end up here. I think he ultimately really did get in over his head. As I said, I've had conversations in the past with Matt Halfhill, the CEO of ZadehKicks. In the article that he wrote about Zadeh, he said that Zadeh took out loans in the 7-figure range that had 30-ish% interest due on them. I mean, that honestly, it's predatory lending at scale. And I can't really understand why someone would do that unless they were just so confident in themselves and what they were doing that they thought it didn't matter. And I think that's a potential fault or oversight, a lack of accountability or responsibility, but not necessarily malicious intent. And that's why the story is so interesting and so compelling, is because he ended up in a bad place, but the reason people suspected at the outset may not actually be the reality that comes to pass as everything comes to light. That's all I've got. If you're watching this, again, you made it this far, you like what you saw, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing if you want to see more. I appreciate you. Thank you. And I will see you at the next one.